Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining me today. My name is Lynn and today I'll be making this planner style calendar. This is a quick look at what I'll be creating, and I'm actually going to be doing this in two parts. So I'll first create this planner calendar, and then I'll also have a separate video on the 12 mini slimline cards and matching envelopes that I have created to go along with this planner calendar. So here's a quick look at the first card, which I already completed, and I'll just slot that into each of the 12 pockets that I've created. So to start off, these are the page bases that I've already created. It's basically just 5.5 by 8.5. I've already printed out a calendar that I designed in Microsoft Word. And I, just to make sure that I had enough papers and decorative elements, I did already decorate January, but in the rest of this video, you'll see me decorate the rest of the 11 months. And, the page bases, I just used some 65-pound cover weight cardstock cut to 5.5 by 8.5. And on the back here, I've created a pocket that is just about the entire width. I left myself 1/2 inch along, we're looking at the back side here, so along the right hand edge. That's where the binding is going to go. So my pocket is around just shy of 5 inches wide. And in terms of the height, I think I created my pocket around 4 inches high, but all of this is, you can customize all of that to whatever dimensions you like. I went with this particular height because a lot of the cut apart elements that came in this paper pad conveniently sort of fit that height. So that's sort of the rationale behind how I decided on the height of the pocket. Now, when I did print out my calendar grid, I did include the name of the month. Mostly just so that when I printed it off, I would actually know which month was which. But I want to actually use some of the decorative elements that came in the Photo Play A Year with My Gnomies kit. And so I'm using the sticker that has the name of the month, and then a border strip that I'll just use to cover up the name of the month that I pre-printed. And so this gives it a really nice decorative finish. And I think having that little strip that goes across is a really nice touch as well, just as a decorative element. And so what I'll go ahead and do is I'm going to put the rest of the decorating on fast speed, but I'll timestamp this video, so if you want to fast forward to the actual binding of this planner calendar, then you can skip the decorating and then just head straight there. So just mouse over the timeline of this video and then click on the little bookmark that has the construction portion of this project. So I'll go ahead and put on some music so that you can go ahead and just sit back, relax, and watch this calendar get decorated. Okay, so onto the binding. This is going to be so fast and simple, but it's going to look so nice and professional. So I am bringing out my We Are Memory Keepers Cinch machine, and because the stretch of the height of my planner is taller than the number of holes that the cinch can punch in one pass, I'll have to do this in 2 passes. So I'm gonna start off by pushing my each of my pages in, and I think you can maybe punch through 2 or 3 at a time. So that's what I'm gonna do to save myself a little bit of time. And I'll go ahead and get that pushed all the way in, making sure that it's flush to the guide on the left and flush to the back as well. And so there you see I've got 3 sheets that I'm punching through. And what I like to do is I like to punch through everything in this first setting as a first pass. And then I'll change my, the little guide on the left. I'll change that the one time and punch through the rest. That way there's not a lot of back and forth. So I do have this back cover just from lightweight chipboard, also cut to 5.5 by 8.5. And then there's, me sliding the guide rail all the way as far left as it will go. And I pulled out peg number 5. And the reason for that is because that peg is a little bit close to the top edge of my pages. And any pegs that you pull out will not punch. You'll see the rest of the pegs actually go down, but that one will stay up because it doesn't actually, it won't actually get pressed down to punch. And by pulling that out and not punching hole number 5, I am guaranteed that I won't get a partial hole punch at the edge, top edge of my page. And even if it's not a partial punch, even if it's a full punch, it's not going to look even with the rest of the pages. So that's why I like to pull out that that peg there. And so once and I definitely recommend, if you have never punched for a certain size or project before, use some lightweight copy paper or scratch paper or a bit of recycling that's cut down to your project size, and do a test run. And that way you can be sure that you know what settings to use and have everything figured out before you actually punch holes through your final project. Now, I actually had to buy some new coil binding because what I have in my stash wasn't large enough for this project. So this is, I think, 1-inch wire loop binding, and it is, with these wire loops, they are, there's sort of sizing to them, and the We Are Memory Keepers will punch at a 2-to-1 ratio. That means there's 2 holes punched to every one for 1 inch. And what I did to order this is I put all of my pages in order, and then I took the back cover and I basically flipped it over to the front. And here I'm just going to load in all of those pages in that order. And you can, when you snip down your wire coils, I like to keep those little segments that are left over, because when you bind projects like these, you don't necessarily always have to bind the full length. You can always bind it in 2 smaller stretches on both ends. And I forgot to point out, I did point to it just now, but I forgot to say then that I did adjust my crimper here so that it matches 1 inch. And that way, when you push down on the lever to actually close off the loop, it won't go beyond that. And when I checked, it looked like it met up, it hit that point where the 2 ends of the coil were just about touching, but I wanted it to be a little bit more secure. So I just tightened that knob down just a smidge under 1 inch, and then repressed that, and so I have a little bit of a tighter seal. But by ordering the pages the way that we did, the ends of the coil end up on the inside of the notebook, so you get a little bit of a cleaner finish from the outside. But as you can see, it's a really nice professional finish. You don't have to go to an office store to get it bound by them. And even though the Cinch is a more sort of considered purchase in terms of price point, I have found that now that I have it, I use it a lot more, and I can think of more projects to actually create with it. And I love making projects like these as gifts because you do get such a professional look to it. So I've made coloring books, I've made just plain paper notebooks and sketch pads, things like that. I think they make for really quick projects, but you throw on some beautiful pattern paper as your covers and you have a really nice fast gift to give. So that's my project for today. I hope that you enjoyed it, and if you did, please consider liking, commenting, and sharing. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to this channel and ring the notification bell so that you can get notifications whenever new videos get posted. Thank you so much, and until next time, happy crafting and have a fantastic day. Bye!